Well, hello everyone. This is John Byrne with Poets and Quants. Welcome to our Profile of the Week on MBA Watch, sponsored by mbaMission, the leading MBA admissions consulting firm. And I have with us today Jessica, a Managing Director from mbaMission, to analyze a really interesting profile. She calls herself Mrs. Nebraska. It's because she went to the University of Nebraska for her undergraduate studies. She has a 3.77 GPA, a very impressive GMAT score, 740. She works in an industry that very few women tend to work in, construction management. She started as a business manager, became a project controller in a short period of time. And in fact, she has been managing a project in excess of $100 million. And here's another little really interesting detail about her I think that Jessica is going to like as well. She's really taken charge of the recruitment, the retention, and the promotion of women in an environment in construction management where that's kind of rare. So Jessica, she wants to go to your alma mater, Harvard Business School. What do you think?
So first, John, thank you so much for having us on. I was really intrigued by Mrs. Nebraska's profile. Just a lot of things jumped out at me. And one of the key things that I don't think you mentioned is just how young she is. She's only 25 right now and already has had a promotion and really moved up. As she said, she's one of the youngest people in her company to have the role that she's in. I also really like that she has done a lot of work at her company to promote women. So I think Harvard is an ambitious choice for anyone. I don't think in 11 years I've ever told anyone that it's a safe choice. But I think there's a lot about her profile that will really intrigue Harvard Business School.
So Jessica, one thing that stands out to me is that she is not from either a feeder university or a feeder company to Harvard.
Right.
And I wonder how that affects her chances.
So it's a really great question, John, and I get asked that a lot. People come on to consultations with us and they're very nervous about the fact that they haven't come to a top school. So I usually frame it in two ways. First thing I would say is, what are you going to do about it? There's a lot to worry about in the application process. And you might as well only worry about the stuff that you can control, like your GMAT score or your promotions or the way you write your essays. But worrying about where you went to school, it's out of your control right now. But the second thing is I actually think that in her case, it's a positive. Nebraska is not well represented at Harvard Business School, and they're trying to build a diverse class.
Now, Jessica, her goal is to work in strategic consulting, but there's a part of her goal that actually connects to Nebraska, which is actually, I find it very alluring, to be honest. She wants to return to Nebraska because she's concerned about the state's brain drain. What do you make of that?
I actually love that point as well, John. But I did think that her goals needed a little bit of clarifying and a little bit of work. She's been in the unusual contracting industry. And now she wants to go into consulting and then go back to work to offset the brain drain. She's definitely someone I would want to talk to about how do her goals have a more of a logical flow so that she moves from what she's doing now and then adds value and enhances at each step of the way. I think there's a little bit of work to be done there.
So what advice might you give her in terms of the format of her Harvard essay, which we all know is tell us something that we don't know, we can't tell from your application?
I always tell people it's not your resume in paragraph form, because they know that already. So it's more looking for the why than the what, because the resume will showcase the what. But in her case, I want to know why at 25 does she have the confidence to be in the kind of role that she's been in? What about her family background? What about growing up in Nebraska? How did that shape her in some way?
Now, here's the other thing about this profile that actually worries me. I wonder if it worries you. Okay. She has her first choice school. It's Harvard. She doesn't indicate any other schools that are under consideration. Now, Harvard, with its admit rate of 10, 11, 12% in a given year, and we know that the pool is self-selecting and incredibly competitive, shouldn't everybody hedge their bets, even if their life's desire is to go to Harvard?
Well, everybody should hedge their bets if they would be willing to go to another school. And I wrote a blog post we have on our website called What's Your Tipping Point? And essentially what it says is it asks applicants to think, what is the best school that you would not leave your job for? And what's the worst school that you would leave your job for?
How many schools would you say a real strategic applicants should be applying to?
3 to 5, I would say. Couple stretch, one safety, a couple of really sort of mid-range competitive places.
And I don't know, there's something about this candidate that makes me think this person would be great at Kellogg. She just seems warm and welcoming and open, and I love the Nebraska connection, and I think Kellogg would love her.
I agree with you completely. That's a great suggestion.
Okay, now what are her odds? Come on, now look in your crystal ball and just tell us, okay, what's her shot?
I don't think in 11 years I've told anyone it's a guarantee. I would put her odds at about 30 to 35%. Let's say 3 times the standard candidate.
Those are very favorable odds. That's fantastic.
I really like this candidate.
I do too, and I think you gave a really good assessment, Jessica. I really appreciate it. And I think that a lot of you out there are going to find similarities with this profile. You know, there are many people who didn't go to an Ivy League school or a near Ivy or public Ivy. There are many people who may not work in a mainstream MBA industry like consulting or finance or even technology. And yet the class needs to be diversified, and that can be to your advantage. And Jessica, I think, has given us some really great advice on how to shape her essay, on how to clarify her goals, and both of us agree you got to apply to a few more schools, because there are a lot of schools that'll get you the McKinsey Bain BCG. Jessica, it's been a pleasure.
You too. Thank you, John.
This is John Byrne with Poets and Quants. You've been watching our Profile of the Week on MBA Watch, sponsored by MBA Mission.